What's going on, guys? Let's talk about food. Food's one of my favorite subjects. I like food. I like food a lot. I probably like food more than what I should like it. But for this discussion, let's stick with food in the context of survival and preparedness, obviously. Now, this is going to apply to pretty much everything. You store food so that you can eat when you can't go to the grocery store, food's not available, right? If things ever go south on us, food and water probably two of your top priorities. So you've got a couple of different aspects to look at. You've got your long-term stored food that you have at home, long-term stored food at maybe your bug out location if you've got a separate place to go to, and then you've got your food for a bug out bag if you plan to intend to use a bug out bag, or a get home pack if you keep something with you at work or whatnot. And then you've also got food that you're going to have to keep if you're going to be doing any kind of security patrolling. See my patrol series on that. So for all those different things, there's all kind of considerations to take into account. For your stored food at home or your bug out retreat, whatever, you've got a lot of options there. Obviously, one of the best things to do that is bulk food storage. Buying big, huge bags of rice, beans, all kind of other things like that you can use and seal up. Most commonly, people will seal it up in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers and then put it in 5-gallon buckets, that sort of thing. You can really make things go a long way and put away a substantial amount of food that way that will last a long time. In addition to that, though, there's also other things you can do food storage wise, such as canned foods. Canned foods, as long as you keep them under fairly controlled conditions, will last darn near indefinitely. Most canned foods you buy, there's a date on there. Remember, that's a sell by date or a guarantee by date that, because of our litigious society, manufacturers have to put on there that they'll only guarantee it up to that point, or they recommend it's sold by that point. Canned food, as I understand it and have been told, it's sterile when it's canned. So as long as the seal on the can's not broken, then it's good indefinitely. What happens to canned food over time is it can lose some of its nutritional value and taste. Now, they've actually recovered, I've read, canned foods from all the way back to the Civil War that upon opening were perfectly edible and healthy. The nutritional value had dropped, though it did still have some, just not the same as what it was when it was originally canned. And of course the flavor had dissipated some, but it was still edible and would have been okay to eat and sustain you. Telltale signs on canned food to look for is if the can's open, obviously, or the biggest sign is bulging. If the can's got a bulge in it, swollen up, that sort of thing, chunk it. Don't even attempt to open it or anything else. Probably got botulism in it. You don't want nothing to do with that. So just toss it, move on. So canned food's good to have. Canned food, you can usually take just about any canned food, open it up, and eat it right there, cold on the spot. Doesn't require it to be heated or cooked or anything like that. It obviously usually tastes better when it's heated or cooked, but you don't have to eat it and survive on it. Now, what I really want to focus on in this video, though, is two other things. One is MREs, and the other is freeze-dried. The reason I want to focus on those is because both of those are good long-term storage options. but they're also probably your better options for a bug out bag, patrol bag, get home bag, that sort of thing. But there's some pros and cons that I want to toss out there to you that maybe you have, maybe you haven't thought about. So here's a typical MRE, okay? And here's typical freeze-dried food. You can eat and survive and live off of either one of those should you need to. For a get-home bag, bug-out bag, or a patrol pack, the things to take into consideration are this. Chances are with any of those three, you may not be where you can have a fire. Be it just because you're not where you can physically start one, or be it because it might draw attention to you, that you're trying to be unnoticed, or whatever. In that kind of situation, an MRE really shines because A, you don't have to heat it up. You can eat it cold. And B, most of the better ones do come with a flameless heater that you can heat up the main entree. And all it takes is just a little teeny tiny bit of water. You can heat it up. There's no smoke, there's no smell, there's no flame, there's no fire, there's no light, no nothing. So minimal water, and you can have a hot meal. MREs are easily portable, etc., etc. Now, things like freeze-dried foods, those are easily portable as well. I see a lot of people pack those as part of their gear. Great choice, nothing wrong with that. But there are a couple of downsides to some of the freeze-dried foods. Number one, you've got to have a heat source because you have to have hot water. So you're either going to have a fire or a stove or some way of heating up water to add to it to cook it. The second thing is, and this is probably for me probably the bigger issue of the situation, with the freeze-dried stuff, you have to have water to prepare it. And usually it's, let's see, what's this one? This one's 2 full cups, 16 ounces. So 2 cups of water just for that one meal. If you've got to go through 2 or 3 meals, and this probably apply more to like a bug out bag or maybe in a get home bag where you may have to go 2 or 3 days or more on foot. If you're talking 2 meals a day, that's a minimum of 4 cups of water minimum per day just for your food. That's not counting what you're going to need to drink and everything else. The reason I bring all that up is the freeze-dried food is going to require that you have to carry a lot more water. More water means more bulk and more weight. That may or may not be bulk and weight that you'd want to put into other things, such as more food, other equipment that you may need, clothes, shelter, whatever. So I just wanted to throw that out there because it's something that it's just popping in my head as I watch people talking about their bug out bags and I see what they've got packed. I see a lot of people packing freeze-dried food, but they, more often than not, they don't have the water capability. They may have a 3-liter bladder in their bag, or maybe a couple of Nalgene bottles, and that's it. If that's the case, then that means they're going to be stopping for water constantly and hoping that there's water sources around that they can get more water from, because you're going to need to drink a lot, because obviously you're going to be on foot, you're going to be up doing stuff. So you're going to be consuming a lot of water drinking, but then you're going to need all that extra water just to prepare your food with. So give that some thought as to whether or not that's a concern for you. Your situation, your environment, your terrain, location, etc. It may not be. I'm not saying it is. All I'm saying is look at the difference between things that require a lot of water to prepare versus things that don't require a lot of water to prepare. Also think about things that require you to consume a lot of water. Some people may not know this, but if you're eating a diet that's high in protein, such as meats, be it wild animals that you kill and prepare, packing things that are, I pack it too and use it because it's a good, simple, easy source like jerky and stuff that lasts forever. It's a good source of quick protein and whatnot, energy. High protein diets like that, protein requires a lot more water intake for your body to process it right. So you're going to be drinking a lot more water if you're having that high protein, high meat diet. So think about that in your water consideration, guys, and your planning when you're looking at what kind of food you're going to be carrying, MREs, freeze-dried, etc., and what's going to be the best option for you. So hope some of you found that of help and food for thought. Other than that, take care, get out there, train, get prepared. We'll talk to you next time.